Easy body. Yeah, 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 yeah. I love you, girl. Yeah, easy. Oh no, check it. Girl, I love you. Yeah, I know that you love me.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Dissect. I go by the name of Novelist.
And I go by the name of Jewel.
And of course, it's going to be an exciting night. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you go ahead and share the live. Subscribe to Islands Therapy on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, TDN on YouTube and Facebook as well. So, Jewel, how was the week, man?
Oh my gosh, it was a long but short week. My day job kept me busy.
Oh yeah,
It was March break camp over here, spring break.
Yeah, it feels like spring right now for real.
Yeah, some days where we had a winter storm during the spring break, but then it was hot on the other day. One of the other days, like so hot.
We went from extreme cold to extreme hot. Like what what summer is gonna be like.
I can't wait for summer. Can't wait for summer.
It's probably gonna be crazy hot though. Well, what's the summer plans looking like?
For me, wow. Caravana's coming back to Toronto. So that could be a thing for me again. I used to play mass, but didn't get my summer body ready just yet. So gotta work on that.
You take a wine to the side, man, like Benjai said. Just look from the sidelines. Yeah. But we have an exciting guest tonight, and of course tonight we'll be talking connections. We'll be talking 767. So let's just bring the man straight to the screen, and let's just straight to the vibes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring, what episode is this? Here you go. What's up, Sadick? What's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Nice. So I guess let's get a little background on Sadick. Let's get you. First of all, let me ask you, like, the name Sadick. Can we just use that for the night instead of going the whole?
Yeah, sure.
All right. That's an interesting name, by the way, too.
Yeah. I actually found out like the meaning of my name when I moved to New York. Actually.
Okay.
That's what I know, like the real meaning of the name, because back home they just give you a name. They don't really tell you what the name means.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you want to share with us what it is, or you just want to?
Oh yes. So Sadick is like a Hebrew name. It means the righteous person or trustworthy. Okay. So I try to live by those principles in my everyday life. Yeah. It's some people have told me it's French or like Arabic. There's a little Arabic twist to it also.
Right.
But it's the Hebrew name actually.
Okay, pretty cool.
Yep.
So,
what happened?
I don't know what happened there.
We're back.
It happens. Yeah. So let's get to know a little bit about you. I guess your background and where it all started for you.
I am from Pittsburgh, born and raised. And most people don't know where that is. It's like on the East Coast of downtown Dominica. It's right after Casper, Sansovay, good up. It's like the very last village on that end over there.
Right.
Yeah, I was born and raised there. I went to school there, like primary school and primary school. I went to primary school in Sans River Primary School actually,
Okay.
and yeah. So we grew up here. I mean, it's just basically country life, growing up. Nothing special. I would say typical Dominican upbringing, really.
Simple life.
Yeah, simple life, very simple.
All right.
Simple life could be like a very luxurious life as well,
Yeah, that's funny you said it because now I start to appreciate my upbringing more, especially from the countryside. Especially since I moved from over there to New York. I was like, man, I need that clean, fresh air, that clean water, that noise.
Yeah.
Don't want to deal with that all the time. So it's like now I appreciate it a lot more. But when you're young, you don't really think about this thing. You just be like, yo, you want to get out.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, being in New York or anywhere in North America will make you appreciate home, more for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So man, so when did you I guess left Dominic and went to the States?
2006. There's like a whole backstory before before the state. I could share that with you if you want.
Yeah.
So when he was growing up in Philadelphia with families, it's like poor, like I said, nothing special, usual. Everyone growing up. So it's like my family, like most of the people that were older than me, like my aunts, uncles, like mother, grandmother. It's like they were mainly farmers, like intentional laborers doing stuff around the house, construction, that sort of thing. So like education was never really like a big thing on our side of family. We used to like appreciate it, like admire people that went at that time. It was like high school, right? So you graduate high school with like 7 CXC subjects, and he was like, yeah, he was like a king, right? So yes, that was like a big thing back then. And so on my end, like I said, education wasn't really like the big thing. So after we graduated primary school, matter of fact, in primary school, we had to take like the CXE exam, right?
Right.
So you got to take like a really, really young. I think I was maybe like about 13 or 14, somewhere about here.
Yeah.
So since like I got into grade 7, like so young at that time, you're just a kid. So you mentally, you're not like fully developed, or I should have been fully developed as all the kids. So I had to take the exam twice, right? And I still failed. So it's like,
wow.
So which was crazy because all the guys that I grew up with, like they took it like the first time. Most of them passed. Some of the second time, so they passed. So the guys I was coming up with is like, man, they were gone. I went to Roseville High School. I had to stay back at the countryside, right? Yeah. So after, from the primary school, from after grade 7, if you don't pass, they had this program called the GSP program, because quote unquote the program for the dumb, for the kids that didn't pass complement entrance. Let's just say it like that.
Right.
So it's like, man, after common entrance, all my friends were gone. I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do? So right, I had to go for that GSP program at the Sansiber Primary School.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when I start to like really take my schoolwork serious, because like, man, if this last part don't work out for me, and after GSP, then that's it. You gotta learn a trade to become a farmer or a construction worker or some type of thing, because education was like out of the picture. Right. So like from first form to like third form, it's like, man, I started to dominate everybody in the class during that time. I was like eight, straight to GSP. Nice. So right after we graduated from the GSP program, I'm not sure if you remember that time they had just built a new high school in Castlebrooks. I think the official name was called the Robinus Banis Secondary School, but people call it the Castlebrooks Secondary School. Right. So it's like from over there, from the GSP program, the school had just completed. So we were one of the first students to attend like the Castlebrooks Secondary School. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they only had two forms at that time: first form and second form. those kids that went to second form, or those who came from the GSP program,
Right.
or kids that were transferred from Roseau to that school because maybe they were living in the countryside. They figured like the commute was a lot better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those in the first form were basically younger students from the CXC.
Okay.
So yeah, we went to Casper School. There we had a lot of pretty good teachers over there. So they really.
I thought you were gonna say they were all pretty teachers. That's
where
you wanted to go.
They are like really good teachers over there because most of the teachers there at that time, they were from the area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like a family-oriented type of thing. Like that teacher know your mother, your brother, your uncle. Somebody knows some of the family. So you had to be on your A game, or they will report that to your family, right?
Right.
So when we get to Cass Bruce, I was like the head boy, the first head boy of the school. Basically like the president of the school.
Okay.
That was like till I graduated like fifth form all the way to fifth form, and really that's like I said, I was really taking my education at that time serious because I was like, man, I'm not trying to be no farmer or construction worker. No, nothing wrong with being a farmer or construction worker, but
Right.
I had like
not for you.
I was like, nah, this hard labor is not for me.
Right.
So after we went to Casper School, I met a whole lot of new people, new friends. You know, it's such a growth that they develop, and from there, after we took the what's this? I think it's the CXC. The CXC, we got to leave high school after you graduate. Fifth form, you got to take something. Yeah, so I think from there we took the CXC exam. There again, I was like one of the top students at that school.
Right.
And then so I graduated there, and I moved to Roseau, and I had to move to Roseau for college at DSC, Dominica State College.
Okay, yes.
So we moved there, and I had to move back to state. One of my aunts really living there, so I stayed back to state for a while, and then I studied building and civil engineering at the state college.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after graduated state college, I worked for like 2 years, and then I moved to New York, 2006.
So what was your inspiration for moving after all of that work, that hard work that you put into your education and getting that degree? What made you move to the US?
Well, it just got to a point. Well, the company I was working for at that time. I think it was the director. He told me, man, we saw somebody of my skills and caliber. I should definitely try to improve on better myself, become a civil engineer, because you stay with that level. I mean, that's basically the level you're gonna stay for the rest of your life. You don't try to pursue something else, higher education.
Right.
So like I said, most of my family, my uncles and them, they did like on construction, carpentry. So I always like around the construction industry. So I figured, man, yes, I love construction. I don't want to work hard. And then what I realized, like my uncles, them, they could pretty much build anything for you. They could build a house. They could build anything for you, but they couldn't understand like the construction drawings, right? You give them a set of plans, and they don't know where to start to understand. So I figured, man, I'm gonna try to become a civil engineer. So I moved to New York, and that's when I really decided, okay, I'm gonna give this thing a shot. Let's see if it's gonna work.
And then so from that, how long did it take you to, like, from your schooling to actually deciding, okay, I'm gonna do something on my own now?
Oh man, that was a long process, bro. So I started school. I moved in like December 2006. Right. So I started school in January 2007. So I had transferred into a community college first, because the cost of going to attending school in New York is like super expensive. I mean, it's just ridiculous, right?
Right.
So I figured I got accepted into a four-year program first. But then me being cheap as I was, I'm looking at the cost of the four-year school and the cost of the community college. It's basically the same. They're the same school, right? You're taking
Right.
the same classes, everything, to just
Right.
about half the price of the 4-year school. I figured, man, I'm gonna save some money and do as much classes in the 4-year school at first,
Right.
and then transfer to the to the 4-year program. So I did that. I think I graduated in like a year and a half with an associate degree in engineering science, and I did like all like the math, the calculus, the chemistry, the physics, all this thing at the community college level. So when I transferred into the 4-year program, I went to the City College of New York.
Mhm.
So that school is like one of the top engineering schools in New York. It's right next to Columbia, NYU, Cornell. But it's a public school, and to get into that program, it's really, really difficult to get in the program. So anyway, I got into the program, and the first thing that my advisor told me at that time, I had an Indian guy who was my advisor. He told me, man, you're going to have a lot of problems in the civil engineering program. So I was like, man, this guy don't know what he's talking about. Because to me, I just graduated with almost a 4.0 GPA.
Right.
Graduated with honors. I was like, man, I ain't worried about this guy. I know what he's talking about, right? But the issue was because I did all the prerequisite classes at the community college, I only had to do like the major classes, the core classes. So it's like the first semester I had to take like 4 civil engineering classes. And the guys were like, dude, you're gonna fail. I was like, I'm not gonna fail.
That's crazy.
Me being cocky, I was like, man, I don't care what this guy is. I can't. I never failed. I never do anything. So I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Man, the first semester, bro.
Tough.
I feel like we dropped from one of the classes. I was done. I was like GP was maybe like about 2.8 to 2.9. I was like, Jesus Christ. And this is like you coming up from almost a 4.0 GPA, right? So it's a big adjustment.
Right.
So then I started talking to other guys in the program, because when you go to like this engineering schools, a lot of international students, like mainly Asians, Africans, and a lot of international. So I started talking to the guys. They was like, man, you got a 2.8 GPA and you complain, and he's like, man, take that C and get out of here quick. because they will say like that's how the program is. It's difficult. You're not gonna get A's, and to me it was like a big adjustment. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I never guys went in the program for like 5, 6 years in the 4-year program. I couldn't comprehend it at that time. So I had to like adjust my whole program. I said, man, yeah, I had to adjust. And then so after I made that adjustment, because at that time, when you leave from Dominic to go like in the US, you want an F1 visa, right? The student visa. Unless you have a green card or like an American citizenship, whatever. And one of the requirements for staying on the F1 visa, you need to have 12 credits every semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I am on a budget. I have like the exact money what it's supposed to cost to cover my classes for the program.
Yeah.
So I don't have no money to spare. So after the first semester, I remember I had dropped one of the classes. So right now I had 9 credits. No, the immigration is on my. I said, oh, you already dropped one of the classes. You can't do that moving forward again, baby. I was like, fine. So boom. So when I had to the following semester now, I had problems in getting the classes, the 12 credits that I needed. Because I had dropped one already, and the professor was like, man, you drop a class, you're not gonna get into this class. But still yet I cannot take more classes because I don't have the prerequisites for the other classes that are available, right? Mm-hmm. So right now I have to take like 3 classes. I have to take like another history class or something just to make up my schedule. Right. Anyway, I did that the second semester. Man, I failed one of the classes again. And I'm like, what I'm gonna do? Because right now I'm stuck, right? So I was like, man, what I'm gonna do? So anyway, my GPA was still high, because anything above like 2.7, 2.8, you're fine. So they're not like they're gonna kick you out. They're gonna kick you out of the program. But it became a point now I cannot take civil engineering classes. So I have to be taking all these other little classes put in my schedule. Remember, I'm a budget, and this class is expensive.
You're on a budget.
3,000 a class. I mean, 3,000 US a class. And for somebody coming from Dominica, it's like, yo, that's a lot of money. Like, you know. So then after like two semesters playing around the system like that, my mother was like, man, you better find something else. You better find something else to do, because right now she's looking at the bank account. This thing's like going down. And it's like there's no like, I'm not on schedule. I'm not failing, but I'm not moving as quick as I want to move.
Right.
Because I have to be taking classes that's not going towards the major. So like the first semester, I had about like 80, I think like 90 something credits. So you need about like 120, 225 for you to graduate.
Right.
So like what I was like almost a senior, and there my mother was like, yo, listen, I cannot continue paying for these classes and I'm moving. So you gotta make a decision. You gotta change.
Yeah.
Either you change your major, or you find something else to do, because that money here, she's not gonna continue paying for the money.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to change the major. I did environmental engineering, and then like a year after I was done. I graduated from environmental engineering degree, but all during like the final semester when I was at City College, I was working as a construction project manager. So I was like going into school during the day, working at nights, and I had some kind of crazy shift, like 3 in the afternoon to like 2 a.m. in the morning, right? So because the company I was working for is like, this guy was working like 24/7, because it was right after Hurricane Sandy. So there was a lot of buildings that were damaged, and it's like they need to get this thing up. So it's like 3 in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm at work. I get home like 6 in the morning. I gotta take maybe like an hour nap, jump on the train, and ride an hour to school. And I get to school, I'm like burnt out.
Wow.
I'm like, man.
So all of this was like motivation. Was this motivation for you to become an entrepreneur? Like all of these struggles that you went through?
At that time, I didn't know I was gonna become an entrepreneur. I was just going through life and ensure that I gotta graduate, because my mother basically put up a whole savings account, take a loan, do all type of stuff. I cannot go back home and say, yo, man, I didn't make it. I didn't finish. I kicked up the school, so I had to. I was like, yo, there's only one option, right? So I had to graduate. So right after I graduated, I got a job as a project engineer at one of those firms in New York City. So I worked for the company for like nine years straight out of college.
Right.
Yeah.
So I worked there during that time.
So it seems like you're a self-motivated person. Like you use your setbacks and you just kick forward. I mean, right. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, I really had no choice, because it was either that or become a bum, right? Not like I had no other skills.
Right.
So that was my only option. That was my only option.
Right.
So yeah, so that's why I did it. I had no other choice.
So all your hard work, would you say it's paying off now, or it's?
Oh yeah,
off?
I mean, right now I'm pretty confident. It's like no, I look back and I say, man, maybe if I didn't go for all that extra strains, difficulties, the barriers,
right,
maybe I wouldn't be as comfortable or confident as I am now, because I felt like I built a pretty solid foundation.
Right.
A pretty solid foundation right now. I mean, it's not something that just happened overnight, right? I took my time, step by step. I went through the entire process. I didn't miss a beat. So
yeah, it wasn't handed to you. You had to work hard for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
So now you come out of college and you're working in your first job, and you decided now you want to do your own thing.
Okay, so like I said, I worked this job for like 8 years, and then after like my 5th or 6th year, I felt like I could do a lot more, right? In terms of, because like when you're at a job after 5 years, it becomes sort of not really repetitive, but you're comfortable, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, man, I'm still young, so I'm gonna try to get a master's degree, right? So So I registered. I went to graduate school, and then I did a master's degree in engineering management.
Okay.
So I took like a year while I was working, and I finished this program.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hit me like after I finished, I realized, man, like, you know, if you like to go for if you go to graduate school, it's supposed to change your mentality, the way you see things. If you really go through it for the right reason, if you're just somebody that's taking the classes just to pass, then you know most likely you're not gonna get it. So it's like right after I graduated, I was walking to the office. The first day I came back after graduation, I'm walking to the office, and I'm looking at my boss, and I'm remembering this song from J. Cole. It's like he was just saying that God bless your rivals, idols, make them never be your rivals.
Right.
So that song keep playing in my head all day. And I'm saying like, yo, right now I have a master's degree. I am more educated than my boss, because if you have a bachelor's degree in alliance, I'm like, why should I be working for this guy, right? That's real. I was like, man, why am I working for this guy? And then it's another incident. Like after that time, we were trying to hire somebody to do sales, to do sales, but it's like more like engineering, construction related. Mm-hmm. So it's like very difficult to find somebody who has a technical background and the people skills, the social skills to interact with people. And I'm saying this guy trying to find this person for like six months, he can't find nobody. So I woke up to him and said, man, you might as well just put with me in that position. I feel like I could, you know, do a pretty good job.
Offer their services.
Yeah. So he looked at me and said, he was like, yeah, you know, you definitely would be a perfect person for it. But the type of client clientele I'm trying to go after, I don't think they would appreciate somebody like you in interacting with them.
Wow.
So, what does that mean? What was that supposed to mean?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
So at first, I mean, remember, I'm working with this guy for like 7-8 years during that time, 6-7 years. So it's not like, it never really like registered. So it was like, okay, this guy just playing. So like a day after, I came back, and then it really hit me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I was like, man, this is what this guy is really saying, you know. And then he came out playing. He came out playing. Like when I went back to him and speak to him, he was like, it doesn't really matter how smart you think you are, how good looking you think you are, how much people skills you are. That particular group of people would not spend the money with you. Right. You understand? Yeah. I was like, that really was taken. I was taken aback. I was like, well, damn, in my head. So that's one of the times I say, man, I gotta do something like that for all people, right?
More said.
So I didn't know how exactly to put that idea into like a manifestation, how it's gonna develop into like a service or a product. So I lingered with it for a while. I was talking to my cousins, and man, I'm trying to do this. Talking to some of my friends. I was like, everybody I spoke to about it before I actually did it, say, first question, how were you gonna make more money off it? That was always the first question. Especially like older people, right? Like guys, maybe like 40s, 50s, like, okay, song's good, but how are you gonna make money? And I already know how to make money off it, but I know if I on the first attempt do it like that, it's not gonna go, because people are gonna say, but who is this guy? Want to, you know, like us. People are gonna say, like, who is this guy? Why would I pay to be on your platform when I could do it for myself, right?
Right.
So, but my goal was never really to make money off of it on the first attempt. My goal was to just build a platform that's to unite our people and create some type of economic development or force some type of relationship between all our people, right? Right. So I was there, and then I started to speak to some of the guys that was my age or the younger than me. As soon as I told them what it was, they got it like instantly. They're like, yo, this shit is so dope. You should do it. But the younger guys telling me, man, you should do it. The older guys were like, how are you gonna make money? So I'm like stuck in between, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna cut you for a little bit, just for you to give a little bit of background on what that business is, because our viewers may not know what business that you're referring to. So, so give us a little bit of background.
All right, so Connect 767 is basically an online directory to find Dominican businesses and professionals in and out of downtown Dominica, right? It doesn't matter what country you are, what state you are, what location you are. You could sign up onto the platform, and when someone uses it, they could find you and see what type of products or services that you offer. Mm-hmm. So to put it in simple terms, someone is in New York and I'm trying to get a graphic designer, and I am conscious. I say, man, I would much rather give a graphic designer from Dominica, pay them to do that service for me rather than paying someone else. I don't even know who the person is to do it. You can actually sign onto the platform, and you could spend your money with a Dominican person.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Nice concept. I like that.
Very good concept.
So it's obviously it's been working, right? So
it's working. I would really like to right now my goal for this year and moving forward is to ramp up registration. So it's like when I speak to people about it, they see it, but they sort of confused exactly what it is. They see the clothing because the clothing is like out there, but they don't know it's actually a platform. Which is partly, I would say, myself to blame, because like the clothing is like the thing that's been going crazy, you know.
Right.
That people see it, they like it, and they buy it, and they keep buying it and keep wearing it. But I developed the clothing is just like a marketing tool, right? So if you see the brand, if you Connect 77, I mean, the next step should be what exactly is this, or who owns it, or what exactly it's about. But it's people. I learned the hard way. People don't really like to read, you know. So it's like you see something and just go with it.
Right.
So I try to make it as simple as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So the engineering things, but so you do the clothing line. Is that the last like business thing you have going now? Because you talk about the engineering stuff, but isn't there something else more than the engineering stuff that you're doing as well that's connected in 767?
Oh no, well mainly it's just the directory and the clothing. That's basically you could sign up to the directory is absolutely free. Right. But the clothing, you know, you gotta purchase the clothing because we need something to keep the lights on, you know.
Of course.
So, and to build the platform, we actually built the platform myself. The very first version of the platform, Makaza and I, we built the platform from scratch. I mean, we had no type of the database background or computer science background.
Right.
And then we realized. We figure, you know, we're smart guys. We could definitely make this work, man. When we start building this, we see how complicated this thing is.
Yeah.
So we built it. It was working. It worked. And then I had some friends that are really actually into the data analysis, database development. Be like, bro, I mean, I know what you're trying to do, but this thing is, you got a lot of work to do on it.
Yeah.
So that was like right before COVID hit. So it was like during the down time in COVID, we took our time, we redesigned the entire website like over. We changed the platform, we built it right, and then we start from scratch again and just rebuild everything. So right now it looks a lot better, but there's still a lot of improvements that I think I want to do on it. But you know, these things take time, and with tech, you know, if we did it in technology, it's like every other day some type of improvement happens, update happens, and constantly updating this thing. So.
Yeah.
When did you actually launch that platform? You said just pre-COVID you were working on it. When did you actually launch it?
It was a year before COVID, so I would say like 2.5 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that was my next question is because you said how technology is always changing. Yeah. So how are you guys gonna like try to keep up with technology changing and how everything is being run right now? Yeah, I mean my goal is to have like a developer, full-time developer assigned to the website and the directory, right, and to update the features, make it easier
easier for people to use. We always, because that's one thing that I learned the hard way, right? You could build like the best platform you want, and it's difficult for someone to use it, someone to understand. People are just not going to use it. So the goal is just to simplify everything and make it easy. Like once you go on the website, no one should be telling you where you have to find something. So we try to put it in your face, try to make it as easy as possible to follow instructions. But like I said, these things take time. You got to evolve. You got to update. You know, that's just how it is.
Right.
So do you have a customer service representative in the United States as well as Dominica for your business?
Well, the customer service comes through the website, so we're based in the US. I have one of my friends who does help me with in Dominica. I've been looking for a store or something like to open like the clothing aspect of it, but I learned the hard way again. It's very difficult, like to ship stuff in bulk to Dominica. Not difficult, but expensive.
Right.
So I remember like the first time I was like, man, let me just go through the proper channels, the established channels. Let me see exactly how much this thing is gonna cost to actually get stuff to Dominica and see if it makes sense to. So we sent like first time was like a barrel of clothing. Man, when this thing got to the port, because the clothing that comes in like well packaged, well sealed, just brand new stuff. Right. I didn't realize you have to go for so much hoops, or you need a broker, you need someone to do this. And when I got the bill by the end of the day, I was like, well, damn.
You gotta double up on the prices.
Yeah, I was paying for this thing like three times over. I was like, okay, it's fine. Paying is not a problem, but it's like how much am I gonna sell this thing on an island, right? I mean, you can only sell a t-shirt X amount, right? And especially it's something that is new. People don't know what it is. It's not like you're one of the high luxury brands. You can put it like $200 if people are gonna buy it. It's like we're building this thing from ground up. We're trying to make a name for ourselves. But the cost of doing business in Dominica is like, I'm like, man, it's crazy.
It's almost better to have like your printing services in Dominica, that
Yeah, I mean that is something I have also explored, but then I look at the poor quality of some of the prints, and it's like I was like, no.
Because you have a reputation, right, to uphold. Exactly. Because if someone has an issue with your product, then that's not a good look for you at all.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, we build this from scratch, and I'm very protective of what I put out, the quality I put out. So I try to control that aspect of it.
Yeah. Integrity in business is definitely important.
Yeah.
So how is it now though? Like with the clothing line, when you first came out and you said you had to pay X amount of money, and people did not really know what it was, but I see it being more popular now. So how has Dominicans let me ask in Dominica, or I'll just ask Dominicans, has accepted the clothing brand?
Well, it's a funny thing, because there's like a group of people from back home, like living in Dominica. Like it doesn't matter what I put. I could be a blank shirt. They're gonna buy it, right? Because they like the brand. They know what it's about. They always represent.
Yes.
But most of the sales or people that actually rock is from the US, Canada, England, because we target. Well, I target mainly college students, like people who live in campus. Like you always try to feel some type of identity or belonging. Like when you see that brand, you see Connect, you know exactly what it is. You know what it's about. So we try to make that sort of marketing specifically for the college students of there. But a lot of people in the US, they buy it. They appreciate it. Like when you leave down Dominica, you live in overseas, you get a different sense of appreciation. You a little bit more proud. Like you go through, you do things that you normally wouldn't do when you're in the island.
So just to remind the viewing audience that we have a phone number that you can use for WhatsApp calling. If you'd like to ask a question to our guest, the number is 617 329-9434. Please feel free to leave a voice message or a WhatsApp text. Also, we'll be sharing your handles, all your social media handles for people to follow the website. So we want them to support your business and also to follow you on social media. So we'll be showing those as well.
Right. So Sadick, besides being self-motivated, I think I got to tell you something negative at the end of the show to push you to do the next thing. but besides all that, like what drives you?
Well, when I was younger, to tell you the truth, it was like a fear of failure again,
Right.
or fear of being poor.
Right.
Because like I would see like some of my family members or people like in my village, or even here, like in New York, like in the office where I was working in New York, I was looking at this guy. This guy was maybe like, man, 80 something years, and he still have to come work like every day. I was like, I'm not trying to be like, I can. So I was like, that was really the main thing. I was like, man, I'm not trying to be broke. I'm not trying to be poor. So I'm gonna take every precaution that I take, every step I take, build my castle brick by brick. I don't care how long it takes, but I know I build a solid foundation. If my regular 9 to 5 don't work, I have a solid education background. I could pretty find a job anywhere. But except if them don't work, I could do a regular job, right? So it was really that fear of failure of seeing like my mother. I mean, my mother is like, she'll, the country people, she's from Pittsburgh also. So she's like, she likes to work. Doesn't matter if she have like $1 million in the bank, she's gonna get up and find something to do. I was like, man, I keep telling the husband, when I'm 40, I'm retired. I'm not trying to do this 9 to 5 thing at 40 years. I have to know, I gotta get up, I gotta punch in the clock. At 9 o'clock, I'm punching someone else's clock. It's fine. I could work on a selective projects that I want, but I don't want to feel like obligated to wake up every day and go and do somebody else's work when I'm old and older. It's like I'm really not trying to do that. So I'm trying to establish a foundation that I could either way I could go. I don't mind working 40, 45, but it has to be selective projects, right? It's something that I really want to do, or something that I'm passionate about. So that was really, that is what really was driving me at this point.
So at the moment, your entrepreneurship, is that affording you the ability to work from home and just concentrate on your business and not work in the field of the engineering field that you've chosen?
No, I work full time as a senior project manager.
Okay.
Right now the business is at a stage where it funds itself, so I don't have to keep putting my personal money into it.
That's good.
So it's at a stage like it self-funds. Anything I do is always goes through the company pays for it, the business pays for it, so I don't have to keep putting my own personal money in there. That was one of my goals last year, to ensure that it's at a level that it's gonna pay for any type of expenses that I need, that it needs to be taken care of. So at that point, it's at that level right now. But like I said, my goal for this year is to drive up registration for the director.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
And I saw I think it was last week in the news that I read it last week. I don't know if it happened last week, but you sponsored a football team in Dominica, right?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I'm from Pittsburgh, so football is like one of the things I did grow up. So I think every year I try to sponsor. I sponsor the San Salvador Primary School, the Castlewood Secondary School,
right.
And then East Central FC is a Premier League club in Dominica that Connect 77 sponsor, not me, but the company sponsor. And I also try to give awards to students who graduate from the Castlewood Secondary School, like who have higher academic achievement. I also like send gifts to the Castlewood Secondary School to give awards to students who excel during their high school journey also. So I try to keep my foot on the ground and my feet in the community, just to, because I'm like I said, I'm from the area, because I know what it was like going to Castlewood School or San Salvador School. We used to go and play sports in Roseau, cricket or football. We had no uniform, man. We had T-shirts with the numbers written on the back of it. I was like, man. so it's like right now, it's like when I see those young guys from my home, it's like, I want them to look good, look professional, have all the gears they need, so they don't feel any type of way like this team is better than us. They have uniform, like we don't have uniforms, you know. So I always try to help when it comes to that aspect of it.
All right. That's nice. Good to see that, you know, you haven't forgotten where you came from, and definitely still have your eyes on the prize of where you want to go. So
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, so like I said, like most of the people like from the primary school and high school from Castlewood is people from my village, so I can't really forget about them. It's like you go home after school and you see this guy walking the same street as you are, right? Like it's like your next the neighbor. He comes out your home, drink coffee with your grandmother. So it's like you had that family vibes, you know.
So would you say your humble beginnings, you know, being in the countryside, because you really got, well, I could say best of both worlds, meaning that, you know, you got a little taste of Roseau because you had to deal with going to school in Roseau, growing up in the countryside, and then moving to the States. So best of three worlds, really. So would you say, you know, your humble beginnings, starting in the countryside, helped you to, you know, to achieve the things that you're achieving right now, and the way that you're going about them?
Yes, it definitely did that, and it also helped with my personality, how I interact with people. Right. You know, I always try to be calm, humble, respectful, and it also provided another dimension of me, the way I see life, right? Because when I just moved to New York, it's like we moved from Dominica. You know, Dominica, everybody have the house, wherever. So I moved to New York, man. It's kind of shitty as basement.
Right.
Full of shit. You gotta deal with that. And then I was like when I just moved here, I was like, man, I live back home. I'm gonna live in somebody's basement, and I'm complaining right in New York. It's like every day I'm complaining. It's like, man, I gotta find an apartment. But it's like you broke as hell. You really can't find shit in New York. It's really, really expensive. Right. So it's like when I was in school at that time, like I said, the engineering program, you had a lot of international students in those programs. So I ended up becoming friends with like 5 or 6 guys. They were from Nepal, Turkey, and then after 4 years, you keep seeing the same guys over and over. So we became really close.
Right.
So it's like I think one of those holidays, the guy invited us to his house to have like a dinner and lunch. We had, I feel, a project or something. Mm-hmm. So we went to his house. This guy it's like a one bedroom basement apartment, like 6 different people in there, right? And me, I got a whole basement for myself.
And you're complaining.
And I'm complaining. I'm like, why am I complaining? I got a whole basement. This guy got one room with 6 guys in one room, and they're so humble. But this guy was smart as hell. Like those guys, you know. So I was like, man, that's what. So I always had the opportunity to do things on both sides of the fence. It's like I would go to Brooklyn, live in the shittiest apartment, or Queens. I have a friend in the shittiest apartment, and then I would meet somebody in my class who lives in Manhattan. I walk in Manhattan, live in the high-rise building. It's like a totally different world. So I always walk like a straight line. I know the bad side, I know the good side. So that's why I treat everybody the same thing. Some people may say, oh, that guy got flashed because they really don't know me on a personal level. They only see it, but they see on social media. But I always maintain. I'm always humble most of the time. I mean, sometimes I talk a lot of shit, but that's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, we all need that side of us, you know. I mean, you got to laugh too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, talk a little nonsense. We're human beings.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was wondering if you have any tips or pointers for people who are entrepreneurs looking to get into a field that you're in right now. That's not in particular the apparel, but an entrepreneurial vibe. Is there any information or advice you would give to someone?
All right. The first thing I would say is whatever you do, whatever plan you have, or whatever you want to do, you should always believe in whatever you're gonna do. Because if you personally don't believe in what you're gonna do, then what's the point of trying to do it, right?
Facts.
And don't just dream about it. Oh man, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Take whatever idea you have, create some concrete steps, and take some actionable items. Have a plan that could take you from point A to point B. Okay, say, okay, I need to, for instance, and if you want to, for instance, let's just say you want to build a house, right? You're not gonna start building the house from the roof. So first you gotta get the land, you gotta build the foundation, you gotta put the walls up, the rafters, then cover the roof, right? So make sure you have some type of sequence, some plan that have things in sequential order how to get from point A to point B.
Right.
And two, you can never do whatever it is on your own, right? You need a team around you. You need a support system around you. You need different perspective. Maybe the way you might be looking at something, someone could have put some fresh eyes and see it in the total different view, right? And then the third part is take all the information from everywhere you could possibly get information as it relates to whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, you have to make you yourself should make the decision as to how you want to do it, right? Because that's one of the things that I learned early on. I knew what I wanted, and I think I hired this guy was working on developing some aspect of the website, and it was like, man, this would look better. And when it was done, I didn't like it.
Right.
So whatever vision you have, I'm not saying to be stubborn or hard-headed. Be open, but ensure that it is your vision because it is your dreams. At the end of the day, it is your face that's gonna be of it. Whoever that built the website, whoever do that photo shoot for you, nobody's gonna know who did it. All they're gonna say is, boy, that missed the thing. I push on himself there. I don't want that, right? So be very protective of your brand, your image, or whatever it is you want to do. You gotta protect that. That's what I would tell them. Believe in yourself.
Thank you.
Facts. I could definitely roll with that. But okay, you said something about like you said something, and I took two ways about it. Like build something that you could branch off from. That's what I get when you're saying. So it's like Connect 767. You know, as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
Right. It carries a lot of weight because you not only you have the directory, you have the clothing line, and you could also take that into something else too, right? So I find the names really mean a lot when you building a product or something like that.
Yes, definitely. And another way the directory could be used is it's not only that you could search for businesses or professionals. The directory could also be used as a recruiting tool, right? For instance, if you have a business in Dominica and you want to find an engineer, right? You could go on there and just select Dominica, select engineering, and see how many engineers that are registered into the directory. And you could say, okay, this guy got a master's degree, he got 5 years experience. Let me call this guy, see if they're available to work for me. That's another way you could use the platform. So it's not just it's a very effective tool if it is used correctly or if it is used at all. Because like I said, that's my main thing now. I'm trying to generate usage and more people to register to the directory. It's good as it's built. If no one is using it, then it's not. It's pointless,
Right.
Yeah. But it's one thing to get the viewers, or like let's just say people like Jules and myself to actually sign on to it. But how do you get the business side of it to actually sign on to it?
Yes, that's one of the difficulties I've been having. Those younger people, like my age or younger, like they would really access to it like instantly. Those older businesses, those well-established businesses, it's very difficult to get them to see something as simple as that, but effective, how it could benefit them.
Yeah.
Like because if you really look at it, most business, like most other businesses, they would charge a fee to register to the business. Because even back before, like you had this big directory of all these businesses, you had to pay to be in the directory, this big book you had before. You have to pay your fee to be there. Right now, it's online. It's easily accessible to everybody anywhere in the world, and it's free. But yet, you still don't want to register it. There's actually no downside to allow someone access to your business online. There's no downside. There's no downside to it.
It's a different era, right? It's the computer age. It's unfamiliarity for them. They're like, oh, we've been doing it like this for years, so why change it now? But they know the benefits of it.
That's one of the things that we're running into. Say, we've been doing this for 20, 25 years. We don't think it's gonna happen. You know, it's gonna make much of a difference for them. It's okay. Doesn't mean because it's been for 25 years doesn't mean it's a new day, man. You gotta modernize. You gotta continue evolving. You know, because even for me, like when I go back home, it's like I don't know where anything is, right? So for instance, if I want to find a barber and you're a barber in Rosewood, I can just go on there and say, okay, this guy's here. Let me just walk to wherever and go get this done. Or I need a car rental or something. You could do that.
Yeah.
So
but you know, that's really the way of the world right now. So, but you know, it's something new, and we know how Caribbean people are when it comes to new things. We want change, and when we get it, we kind of like just sit on it. You know what I mean? But it's definitely a fly idea, and I believe once it catches, it will run, right?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I'm taking my time. I have to make sure the product and the services is good,
right?
And then it's gone. Because I remember when I just started, my cousin was like, man, ain't nobody from Dominica can register this thing. That was like one of the comments that I got. He was like, because he was like, people like he was trying to explain to me like people like Dominicans who live in different countries, like St. Thomas forever. He was telling me he had a business, the same construction business. He was like, man, he don't like to work for people from back home because they don't want to pay him. They do this. It's always a problem. It's this. I was like, bro, I'm not trying. So I was like, it's a free thing. There's no harm that could happen. Like he was like, it's just, I guess it's just like a cultural thing. But but anyway, I still move forward with it, and I did it. So I mean, like I said, it's free. It's open to everybody. So you know.
Well, give us the website. Give us the website. Give us your handles. We want people to log on to follow you, even if it's just to investigate for themselves to find out more information about it. Let them know what your website is and your Instagram.
It's collect77.com. There's a full website there. There's a directory there, and the stores there also, so you can register whatever businesses or services that you offer. And Instagram is Connect77 LLC, and Facebook is Connect767. And that's it.
All right.
Very, very simple. You know what I mean? So, man, we wish you luck with your endeavors. It is a great idea. I am gonna check it out myself as well. I hope Dominicans in Dominica, especially the business side of things, gets to that, because going to Dominica sometimes, and I was just there last year, there's some places that you go and it's like, no computers. So and coming from this side of the world where everything is just fast paced, having to go down there and adjust to slow mode is, it could be very difficult. So that is a very good idea, especially, sometimes I go to Dominica. Well, I know where, I could go check Jomo to cut my hair, but, you go to Dominica and I'm like, when I reach Dominica, I'll shape up, so that's a good point. You get there, you want to punch in barbershop or, food or, whatever it is, right, that you're looking for. So,
I want to speak from someone who, as perspective of someone who's not Dominican or who doesn't have Dominican background. I think it's also good for a tourism tool for people who are not Dominican. Then they can learn more about the island and where to go when they go on vacation to Dominica or on a business trip, that they know how to find their way around to different businesses.
Definitely it is.
Good stuff.
So, my friend, thank you for joining us, man. Your story is amazing, man. I gotta send you a negative message, man. But your story is amazing. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person that think like that. Like when I don't take everything negative. You know what I mean? Like, I always try to get something positive of you trying to hold me back, or you sending shots at me, or in your instance, in your case, school, or whatever, or just people telling you certain things, right?
Yeah.
So man, keep it going, keep it moving. Thank you for joining us. I hope we could do this again. If you want to shout out anybody or give your handles for it, well, you give your handles, but
Yeah.
if you want to shout out anybody, your team, then go ahead and
Yeah.
do that.
I just want to shout out to the entire Dominican population, wherever you are, man. Register to the direction. That's it. Very simple. It doesn't matter what type of service or goods you offer, register to the direction. Because we're trying to build something that could basically direct money towards your business.
Facts.
Because at the end of the day, that's all it's really doing. So register.
One last question before we let you go. There's a question that came in on the WhatsApp. How do you vet registered businesses or professionals to make sure they're real?
So that's an aspect that we've looked into, and we realize it's gonna take a lot of resources to do it. So while the platform is free and you could register whatever you have, we haven't developed an efficient way to vet businesses as yet. But as far as I see, those businesses that are on there as of now, they seem legit, and quite a few people have been directed to build businesses there, and they always send me a message. Oh, thank you, I found this on your website, blah blah blah. So we really appreciate that aspect of it.
Nice, thank you for that.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess that's it, man. Sadick, amazing again. I hope we could do this sometime in the near future.
Definitely.
And next time we sit and talk, and I'm hearing the business is booming in Dominica. So I mean, good luck and everything, and thanks for joining us again, man.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the man, Sadick from Connex 767. Amazing story, man. To doubling back in school and being a boss in his own world and all that good stuff. So, Jules, anything before we bounce?
I just wanted you to know that I won't be here with you next week, but I know you can hold down the fort by yourself.
Yeah, you always gotta bring in the bad news, right? Gotta be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, I have to support someone next weekend, so I won't be here, but I'll be here in spirit as I usually am when I'm away.
All right, when I'm taking off, I'm taking 2 weeks back to back. Just saying. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, subscribe to Islands Therapy, subscribe to TDN on Facebook and on YouTube. And everybody have a blessed week and a blessed weekend. Stay tuned for our guests for next week show that Joel would not be joining us in. Have a blessed week. See you guys. Peace.
What's up, y'all? Ramona Toussaint here.
And Kenika Nicholas,
CEO of Propertings LLC.
Have you ever experienced a pallet? Well, inviting you
On Dissect at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
March 26th, come get an insight on how a self-made entrepreneur
Talking about why I started Propertings and
local cuisine with my expertise in nursing.
what it's all about. So tune in, and I can't wait to talk.
And remember, better food, better mood.